and the ever-improving Steve Prescott. Wings, watch for the strong-running Jim Fallon and St Helens leading scorer Alan Hunt. It's Francis Cummins and Anthony Sullivan operating on the other flank. Centre Kevin Iro, who got a hat-trick last Friday night against Bradford, and David Lyon. Craig Innes is up against former British international Paul Loughlin. Standoff Gary Schofield, he'll have quite a scrap today with Tommy Martin. Scrum half is Graham Holroyd, and the former Leeds Player of the Year, the only season he was here at Headingley, Bobby Goulding. Up front, Harvey Howard is head-to-head with the Western Samoan Apollo Perolini. It's Isini Faimilo and Ian Pickavance. Saints taking a gamble that his troublesome knee lasts the 80 minutes. The hookers, James Lowes and Kieran Cunningham. Second row, George Mann and Chris Joint is out, so Vila Matautia comes in from the start. Richie Ayres and Sonny Nicol are two British internationals. Loose forward, Gary Mercer for the absent Hanley and Phil Vivers for the suspended Cooper. On the bench, Marcus Vasilakopoulos and Mark Elia. And in 15, Neil Harmon and Chris Morley. Coaches are former colleagues at Widnes once upon a time, Doug Lawton and Eric Hughes. Bobby Goulding is the St Helens captain today, the only side to win at Headingley in the First Division this season. A battle royal in prospect here. They have completed the league double over Leeds with comprehensive wins, and Goulding is all wound up for this. He is most certainly one of the big leagues players of the season. Alan Hunt is the St Helens leading try scorer. 28 tries this season, but incredibly 14 against this Leeds side in the past 4 years. Leeds begin as favourites, led out onto the field today by Gary Schofield. Gary Schofield has lost 5 semi-finals in all. 4 with Leeds and 1 way back in 1984 with Hull. But Graham Holroyd, a 17-year-old substitute in the 1993 semi-final defeat at St Helens, and he played in last year's academy final against Wigan at Old Trafford, so he is one Leeds player with a little bit of Old Trafford experience under his belt. David Lyon and Apollo Perolini, the St Helens players, getting into the huddle as their captain Goulding goes to shake hands with his great friend off the field, Gary Schofield. They really are prepared for this, the Saints. Enemies for 80 minutes this afternoon, but great friends. The match referee is Stuart Cummings, one of the 3 nominees as referee of the year, and obviously a man who will have designs on taking control of the final itself at Old Trafford next Sunday. He's looking for a big game, the two sides looking for a big game. This is the semi-final, number 2 of the Stones bit of Premiership. Wigan are already there, and is it going to be Leeds or St Helens who will join them in a gala day to end the season in a week's time? Holroyd starts us off. Deep kick, bounces in front of Sullivan, and Anthony Sullivan will run this ball at this Leeds defence.
Tense moments out there. Nerves will play a big part, especially early in the exchanges. The first 10 minutes vital. Both sides trying to get quickly into the game pattern.
That's Phil Vivers, who's in the side for the suspended Shane Cooper. This is Matautia, and Vila Matautia, that's how he wants to be known from here on in, apparently. Not Matuatia or anything else. His name is Matautia, so we'll do our best. This is Sonny Nicol. Sonny Nicol grounded, and that's the last tackle for St Helens, 5 metres from the halfway line. Martin just drifts a little kick in towards the corner, but it takes a nasty bounce and runs dead.
Surprised by the strength of the wind there, Tommy Martin called for it neatly on the blind side. Really is quite strong out there. Saints will have the advantage in this first half.
Now Isini Faimilo, prop forward for Leeds, stopped in his tracks first by Martin and then helped out by Paul Lachlan. Lows to Harvey Howard. Harvey Howard nearly knocking Ian Pickavance out of Headingley. And the referee Stuart Cummins pinning St Helens for a flop.
Defender Paul Lachlan came in very late over the top there. There's no need for that. That's a silly penalty. Lost his composure somewhat there. But nerves, as I mentioned, will play a big part.
Yes, it's a big prize. Old Trafford next Sunday, the Premiership final. Tremendous day out for players and supporters alike. What a run from Harvey Howard. Howard looks like he means business today. That's 2 early runs from him. Schofield to Holroyd. Holroyd coming back inside. Goulding's after him. He gets the pass away though to Iro. Kevin Iro, last Friday, the hat-trick against Bradford Northern that really turned the game Leeds' way. James Lowe's now. And another penalty for Leeds. Referee's got Saints offside.
Never went back to defender Paul Lachlan again, and he really gave him a rough treatment. The hooker James Lowe's really did get the full treatment. It's a good run on the blind side, and you could see quite clearly that Lachlan made no attempt to go back to 10.
So Leeds with some great pressure on this St Helens line now. The looping pass from Lowe's to Schofield. He goes over the top and finds Innes. Innes brings Cummins back inside. A dancing run from Cummins and a terrific try. Oh, that's great play from the youngster. 2 long loping passes cut St Helens out wide, and Francis Cummins just danced his way to the line.
Good runs by the forward. It was Faimilo that took him to the line. Look at the beautiful long pass. He used 2 men as dummies out wide, and Innes run on the angle, and look at the perfection timing there of the winger. 1 step, 2 steps. That is sheer magic. Kept himself pretty low. What a great start for Leeds. Superb ball by Schofield out wide. Innes the angle, and the winger came in at the right moment. Francis Cummins, look at that. That is superb individual skills.
A great try from Cummins. His first try in 4 matches. 2 tries against St Helens in October and 1 now here today. Putting Leeds a little bit further down the road to Old Trafford. So Graham Holroyd then, with this conversion attempt early, 127 goals this season. Only the 5th player in Leeds history to top 300 points in a season. He achieved that last week, and he calmly just clipped that ball over the bar. Leeds 6, Saints 0.
You can see the 2 players coming across for Innes, who takes the angle. Cummins on the inside, the sliding defence gets too quick. Beautiful steps. That is one superb try.
Great start for Leeds, great start for Cummins. Anxious to get to Old Trafford to have another shot at Wigan in the final. Mind you, St Helens would like nothing more than to play their great rivals next Sunday. This is Richie Ayres. Richie Ayres, 3 Premiership winning sides at Widnes he played in. Gary Mercer now, wearing the jersey vacated by Ellery Hanley. Hanley has played his last match for Leeds. Schofield from dummy half to Mercer again. Crunching tackle from Matautia.
Sure was, it was pretty high as well. And Mercer looked at the touch judge and says, come on, what are you doing? He really clattered him then.
Good defensive stint this though from St Helens. Tate on the last tackle, kicks downfield, only reaches the St Helens quarter line. Prescott will run it back. Oh, good chase though. Great chase from George Mann.
There you see Matautia right over the top with the left arm. Lucky to get away with that one. Stuart Cummins allowing play on. This is a good stint though, Eddie, from the Leeds pack. They really are working forward.
Referee's got Leeds for laying on in the tackle.
Well, George Mann took an eternity to get out there, but he was helped by Ayres as well.
Head-to-head, 6 games in this Premiership competition from 1975. It's 3 wins apiece. St Helens were very quick to take the penalty. Kieran Cunningham on the restart, and Sonny Nicol. just hauled down by his opposite number, Richie Ayres, and looking for the penalty. Referee unimpressed. Here's Perolini. Good drive from the big Western Samoan prop forward. Cunningham in at dummy half. Goulding trying to work some magic. Gets it to Lyon, and he was tackled immediately by Innes and dropped it.
Well spotted there by Innes. He knew that Lyon was going to come onto it. It was a nice run from Goulding on the blind side, but what a great tackle from the Kiwi centre.
Oh, risky business there from George Mann. It came off though, Kevin Iro, and he escapes the shackles of Sullivan, and he's still going, Iro, up to the quarter line. That's a brave run from the big centre.
He's found top form, hasn't he, Iro? Hat-trick in his last game. He really is on fire. But so is this Leeds back. They're running with a lot of venom.
George Mann, not the best ball, looking for Fallon. Fallon had to stop and retreat to get it. It's Schofield now. Long ball from Schofield to Familo. Familo up the middle, and he's got a ton of support with him. Familo to Schofield, and Schofield for the corner. Prescott's after him. Holroyd's there. Oh, it's a great tackle. Steve Prescott, a magnificent tackle. That was 4 points on the board for Leeds till Prescott took a hand.
He left it too late, did Schofield. He should have handed it on to the youngster before then. The youngster Holroyd was saying, give me the possession. It came too late, and it was enough for Prescott to pull off a superb tackle. But they'll rue the day there, Schofield. It was a good break by Familo, but Schofield should have given it to the younger legs to get away quicker. They bombed it.
I wonder whether we have just seen a little turning point in this match, because Leeds running hot early on, leading 6-0, and it should now be 10. But Steve Prescott, credit him for the tracking back, and what a wonderful tackle to force Holroyd into touch.
Certainly was, but you could see Holroyd, he was just pacing himself to the side. That's great defence there from Craig Innes.
And great defence there from Richie Ayres to bring Cunningham down. Here's Goulding. Goulding the kick upfield, and it bounced over the top of Alan Tate's shoulder. 10 metres from his own line now. The wall of defenders arrive, and David Lyon gets the tackle in. Tate felt that.
Nice long kick downfield. As we mentioned earlier, that Saints do have the advantage of the wind. It was a good kick from Bobby Goulding. What a game so far. Breathneck speed. It's all happening.
Coming up to 9 minutes gone, and here's another run from Familo. Oh, he's done this all afternoon already. He's got Fallon with him. He might not need him. He should have passed. Prescott again with a great tackle. The ball should have gone. Iro makes a mess of it, knock on, and Leeds have thrown 2 chances into the Headingley wind.
Well, a break there from Familo. You can see that Paul Loughlin, he never made any attempt. He hung back instead of going through, and it took an 8 for Fallon to come through on the inside, and then the knock on from the big fella Kevin Iro. Well, Leeds will be ruining that. That is the second occasion, and virtually in the same spot that Steve Prescott has come to the rescue. But as Eddie mentioned, they could have got the ball away quicker, and he's knocked it on. Sonny Nicol lost that football. Little doubt, Stuart Cummings will put down the scrum. The elbow hitting the ground, losing control.
So Leeds with head and feet at this scrum, midway inside the St Helens half. It's with Alan Tate. He takes on Goulding. Goulding and Nicol bring the Leeds full-back down. Mercer's in at dummy half here, scampering away. Goulding working hard at the marker position. James Lowes, Holroyd, Schofield, Innes gets through Pickavance, gets the ball away to Ayres. Ayres trying to turn inside Prescott, but isn't Prescott playing well?
He did well, did the full-back. You could see he was holding the ball so that Ayres couldn't release it. It's a great ball and all tackle of his own.
Man, but he just is pushed and forced back, and that was on the. It's a penalty. No, it's a penalty to Leeds for offside now.
He played the advantage, did Cummings, and rightly so. Saints are on the rack again.
It's with Iro. Iro taking on Lyon out wide, and they get him into touch. Well, this St Helens defence is being tested to the limit.
Well, there you can see the Saints players on the blind side. But how close did he go? What a great game the prop forward for Milo's having. And there you see, good defence.
And that was on the first tackle for Leeds.
Bad mistake there.
3 big errors. They've blown 2 try chances, and there's a tackle that went on the very first in the set of 6 for Leeds. So St Helens now back in possession, and we've seen Prescott as a defender. Now we're watching him as an attacker, but watched all the way by Innes. Loughlin.
Well, there's not much chance for both sets of players to get their breath back. Gee, what a speed this game is being played at.
That's Matautia with the drive. We're 12 minutes into the match. Leeds with just a 6-point lead. It could have been so much better for Leeds, though. Goulding with the kick downfield. That's a great kick. It still hasn't found touch, so he's got to run it out, Tate, and look who's leading the charge. Bobby Goulding. Magnificent kick. Wonderful chase. And then Vivas gives it all away, and he has conceded the penalty.
Silly play by Vivas there. There you can see he was interfering. Well, Tate did dummy a couple of times. Vivas, the experienced player, got sucked in there.
Holroyd finds touch. Leeds aiming for their first Premiership trophy win since 1979, and it would end their honours drought. But of course, it is Wigan who await the winners of this match at Old Trafford in 7 days' time.
Big start though from the Leeds 2 prop forwards, Howard and Milo, and it makes you wonder, Eddie, whether
this is Lowe's on halfway. Oh, that was almost a brilliant take by Tate, but he dropped the ball. Cunningham picks it up then for St Helens.
I was just about to say, there you can see that the hooker Lowe's keeping the ball alive, and Tate had an opening. It's quickly closing though, and that's got to be a penalty.
Mercer was grabbing hold of Anthony Sullivan's ankle. He's having a right go at his teammates now.
Took an eternity there, not releasing him. Well, plenty to see, plenty of action, but I just wonder whether Doug Lawton's using the ploy of telling his 2 prop forwards to give it everything they've got in the first 20, and maybe he'll do an exchange. There might be a substitution halfway through this first half.
This is Pickavance. St Helens' turn now to examine this Leeds defence. Cunningham to Goulding. Goulding out wide. Well picked up by Sullivan on the bounce. But a great tackle from Iro. He takes it to himself. Sullivan catches them cold. Can he get the ball down? No, he's held up. But it will be Saints head and feet at the scrum. 10 metres out.
Leeds players complaining that Sullivan had actually moved off the mark, but how close did he go? Well played by Fallon. He got his knees underneath. You see, he wasn't facing square in my book. He seemed to turn away. Leeds were very slow to get back. How often do Leeds defence get caught from a quick play of the ball, though?
Will they get caught here? It's with David Lyon. Doug Lawton, the Leeds coach, watching here as Martin fires the ball into the arms of Hunt. And Hunt was impeded by Cummins. Couldn't get the ball in. The referee will play the first knock on by the St Helens winger.
It's a dodgy pass from Martin there, but well attended there by Francis Cummins. Alan Hunt knew that he was going to be put under a lot of pressure. Tense times out there.
Cummins, the try scorer. Tackled by David Lyon. Schofield at dummy half to Innes. Also a little question mark over the future of Gary Schofield here at Leeds now that they have signed Tony Kemp, the Kiwi standoff from Castleford. Schofield will be wanting to put a couple of big performances in at the end of this season. Lowe's.
Well, there's no better stage than this semi-final. That's when Schofield really wants to pull all the magical tricks out of the hat.
There he was at dummy half. This is Graham Holroyd. It's a high-hanging kick in the wind. Prescott wants it and claims it. And I was going to say nearly escapes the clutches of Holroyd. Here's Sullivan. Leeds defence moving up in a nice straight line today. Sonny Nicol, though, has sucked them in here. Get out the way, Howard. Get out the way, Cummins. He can't shake off the attentions of Ayres and Mercer, though. Cunningham at dummy half to Perolini. Perolini up towards halfway. Oh, it's a right old battle between the two number 8s, Howard and Perolini.
Good work by St Helens. 3 play the balls that are in the lead second half.
With Pickavance. Great run from Pickavance. Good tackle from Iro. Vivas off the ground to Goulding. Goulding, the angled kick, and it's hanging in the air again. Goulding's after it. Goulding's there. Perolini, though, has come up with it. It's on the last tackle list. Martin, Nicol gets the ball away brilliantly to Lyon. Keeps the movement going to Martin. Inside to Prescott. Oh, breathtaking try! Steve Prescott with the try. Oh, St Helens, they took the gamble on the last tackle after Goulding's high kick. Prescott, the defender supreme, gets the 4.
It was a high kick from Goulding there, and Alan Tate took an eternity. You can't afford to let it bounce there. Brought forward, Perolini kept it alive. And how did Nicol get that away? Leeds just stopped. They thought it was going to be a forward pass back on the inside. Super try there from Steve Prescott. What a game he's having. But Alan Tate had all the time in the world to get there quicker. You can see that Bobby Goulding, who was the kicker, got there at the same time. So that put everyone on side. But this is a brilliant try. Nicol there loses it. He did well to get it. And that's where the Leeds defence, they just stopped for a moment. And it was enough for this man to get outside.
Well, Steve Prescott pulled off some sensational tackles at the other end. And now he's scored the try that puts St Helens back in the hunt for this. Goulding with the conversion. It was right tight to the touchline. The 4 remains for St Helens, Leeds 6.
There you see Tate circled, and the cross is where the ball's going to go. He really should have gone for it. He hesitated. You can't afford to let it bounce. Well, that really was a bad mistake by the international full-back. But let's not take anything away from the St Helens. They really did back up the man with the football, and they were given the reward.
Well, they have a very proud record here, have St Helens against Leeds. Unbeaten in their last 5 league and cup visits to Headingley. They've lost just 1 of the last 11 meetings between these two. That was a Challenge Cup semi-final last year when Leeds went to Wembley for the first time. High tackle.
Not only that, they were offside as well. And I think Howard will be spoken to about this. There was little doubt also that Cunningham was throwing the elbow pretty high. There you see they were well and truly offside. The penalty is going for the challenge over the top of the shoulders from the big prop forward Harvey Howard. Well, Leeds have had their chances. There should have been more than just 2 points in the lead. St Helens, they stemmed the tide.
And now they're starting to attack with venom from Perolini. Great run again from Perolini. 5 metres short of the line. Goulding taking command once more. Matautia strolls through Schofield and scores. Goulding, the man who came up with the play. Matautia hit it like a bullet and ran straight over the top of Schofield.
Bobby Dazzler running the angle. You could see he attracted him there. Matautia just said to Schofield, get out of the way. Not the best attempted tackle. Turned his back on them there. When you commit yourself out of the one line of defence, you've got to make sure of the tackle, and Schofield didn't. But he's mesmerising them is Bobby Goulding yet again. And Vila Matautia, the big second rower, happy with that.
Matautia, his 6th try of the season, but all previously for Doncaster bar 1. That's his 2nd in St Helens colours. Goulding out on the touchline a moment ago, bang in front this time. Matautia's 4 becomes 6 and Saints hit the front. Leeds 6, St Helens 10.
Look how Schofield's committed himself. You've got to make sure of the tackle. it wasn't forthcoming. Not the best attempt. An easy 4 points there for the big second rower.
So, Matautia's try gives St Helens the lead for the first time. After all that Leeds pressure, Steve-O, the men from Headingley find themselves behind.
It's all about taking chances, isn't it? And it all came about from that bad mistake as well. The heads are going down a little bit on this Leeds side. I think it's time for the Leeds coach, Doug Lawton, to bring on a fresh man just to try to lift his troops. All the possession, and they should have hammered the dome, made sure more points was on the board. They failed to do that.
Well, Leeds, since winning the Premiership in 1979 against Bradford Northern, they've lost no fewer than 9 Premiership semi-finals, including 93 at St Helens. Eric Hughes, former colleague of Doug Lawton, at witness, of course. The St Helens coach watching proudly on as his team take the battle to Leeds now, with Goulding again, who has been in inspirational form all season. Long pass out wide, Rockland just couldn't wheel it in. It was round his ankles, and Goulding the first to say that it wasn't the best pass in the world.
It was an awful pass. The chance was taken though, but they just held off Bobby Goulding. Once again, the little general is mesmerising this Leeds defence. He can't afford to do that. He's running it and he's lost it. Iro lost that ball. It'll be a knock on. The big centre not too happy. The nickname in the Beast. Well, it's a bad mistake there. They really have brought about their own downfall in this last 10-15 minutes.
Leeds losing possession on the first tackle again. Remember, it was Iro who was bundled into touch earlier on. He's just dropped the ball now. That's why Vivas has possession from the base of that scrum. Here's Goulding and Matautia taking on Harvey Howard and attracting 3 others to him. What a good buy this fellow is for St Helens. Goulding again. Here's Martin. Martin to Lyon. David Lyon. David Lyon just held out by another great tackle from Innes. Hunt off the floor. Goulding to Perolini. Mercer with the tackle.
Great tackle from the loose forward Mercer. It had to be as well.
This is Pickavance. Just gets the pass away to nobody. Cunningham. Well, they've given the knock on, referee Stuart Cummins. The ball came out and there was a dab through.
Referee's correct as well. Pickavance trying to get the ball away. Clearly went forward. Nothing that the hook could do with it. At least he did play to the whistle. Big prop forward, trying to keep the ball alive. Well, a lot of chances of going begging.
Fallon. Fallon's face was underneath the knee of Loughlin then as Loughlin went down. Leeds crowd not happy about it.
He definitely dropped the knee into the face then, and the elbow as well.
And the referee is calling the St Helens captain Bobby Goulding to him.
Well, another interference at the play of the ball there, and he's giving him the warning. The next one will be a sin bin stint. That's the 3rd occasion that they've interfered at the play of the ball. Stuart Cummins, the referee, saying no more of that.
By Milo, taking on the teenager Cunningham, Perolini and Pickavance to bring him down. Harvey Howard now, and Matautia just turned his shoulder on Howard, who tries to keep the ball alive and succeeds. It was scrappy, but Schofield's picked up the pieces, and Goulding takes him in. And possession swinging round. It went Leeds' way early. It now is very much in St Helens camp. But Leeds, they've suddenly got a little bit anxious, and Mercer put a hand in the throat of Martin, and Martin has gone down.
What a handoff. Tommy Martin was going in for a high head and ball tackle, and the handoff came. Mercer really just swatted him off like a fly. Get out of the way. Raised the arm, it was the elbow that caught. Not so sure that he moved the elbow. More protection, I feel. Oh, well, on that replay, perhaps he did. Pretty dangerous play.
Put it right in the Adam's apple, did Tommy Martin. Still a little groggy behind play, but this is Prescott. Impressive, this young St Helens fullback. 7 tries in his last 8 games before today, so he's made it 8 from 9 now.
The most amazing thing about Steve Prescott, a lot of the Saints fans feel that if he has any problem, it's in his defence. It didn't show with those 2 great tackles, did it?
Certainly didn't. Interference at the play of the ball by Lowe's, and now Gary Schofield will be told any more of this, and a Leeds man will be in the bin.
Well, he mill-ticked to the second row of Sonny Nicol, but Lowe's was all over the top. It's pretty tense out there, and it's a good idea that Stuart Cummins has done that. At least we won't get this interference at the play of the ball, and that often upsets the players. A few fists could be thrown in there.
It's 1 warning apiece then. Any more, and someone will be on his way for a 10-minute cooling off period in the sin bin. Ian Pickavance, meanwhile, plays the ball. He was tackled standing up. Goulding to Matautia again. Matautia through Mercer, gets the pass back to Goulding. Still going Goulding, and Schofield is there to collar him. 5 metres short of the line, St Helens. Cunningham, the acting halfback. This is Pickavance. The knee holding up so far. You see he's got a strapping on it. Now Matautia to pick up the pieces again. Gets the pass away brilliantly. And there's Loughlin. And has Loughlin scored? Referee checks. He has. Tate doesn't believe it. Kicks the ball away in frustration. But it was a good attack again from St Helens. And Loughlin scores.
The reason why Tate is upset because he feels that it was a forward pass, and I think you'll find that Phil Vivers, when he gets the ball away, it's good play by Pickavance to get it out like that. Ball out wide, and Vivers, well, that was pretty close to forward in my book. See it better on here, but you can see the Leeds defence just stood there. Fallon was out on his own, and once it gets through, now this is the crucial pass, that was forward. They've got away with it. But little wonder that Alan Tate was furious. But this man should have been taken out of the game. Did well, did the prop forward. Matautia did well to keep the ball alive. But in my book, they've got away with it, Saints. Definitely a forward pass.
3 tries in 10 minutes for St Helens. Turns the match upside down. A game that Leeds look to have in their pocket. Loughlin with the try, and now Goulding again with the conversion, this time from way out on the other side of the field. 1 from 2. Trying to float it in on the wind. And he nearly got it, you know. So close, but 14-6. Saints have hit the front again.
We'll slow it down, but I think you will see that his forward pass, he was stood in front there, was the centre Loughlin. Still, it's in the papers. They've got away with it. You take your chances. Lady Luck certainly shining on Saints on that occasion.
It was borderline, I think.
It's near the end of the season, Eddie. I'm not going to argue with it.
Cunningham to Vivers. Controversial pass, according to my learned friend. Schofield working hard to bring Cunningham down. Vivers again, dummy half, Nicol. The St Helens forwards, Steve, are starting to run, or have started to run straight in the last 20 minutes, and they really have made a big impression.
They sure have. They're doing it right, and that's a neat little kick over the top there. Leeds without a sweeper. Alan Tate, the fullback, having to come up pretty tight. Nice kick over from Goulding. He's getting into the swing of things, and Leeds are hanging off him.
George Mann loses it. Sonny Nichol's picked it up for St Helens. He's got away from Innis. Diagonal run from Nicol. Held up the pass, didn't give it to Loughlin. Took the tackle instead.
Was it knocked out? Did Parolini's arm get into it? Could have. Pretty difficult to see there. Either way, Saints are really on the roll. And this is one of the reasons why the Saints forwards are really running onto it. They're running from Kieran Cunningham.
Was that ball stolen? It was. Stuart Cummins glanced to the touch judge on this side.
Yeah, you could see that when he scored.
Goulding has got the try. They played it very quickly from the penalty. They caught Leeds napping in defence, and Goulding, with his 11th try of the season, he really is hammering home his claims to be this year's Man of Steel, isn't he?
There's little doubt the penalty with Gary Mercer, but look at that. They just held off. Leeds were stood around talking and complaining about the penalty. Look at them. You can throw a satellite dish over the top of them. That is awful defence. They deserve a real rollicking from their coach, Doug Lawton, for that one. They just hung around, loitering with intent, and it cost them another try.
Goulding's try then, and he now tries to convert his own 4 points. 20 metres out, just in a little closer towards the post from that touchline on the far side, but not much in it. That's the angle he's got. And he kicks it this time. That's a face that mirrors determination, and from being 6-0 down, St Helens have got a 14-point lead.
Look at the defence there. That is disgraceful. Hanging around on a Sunday afternoon picnic, walking with their backs to the opposition. That is schoolboy stuff.
Well, if Leeds need any encouragement, and looking at that scoreline, they most certainly do. Remember last Friday night they erased a 20 points to 6 deficit against Bradford Northern to make it to this semi-final.
The ironic thing, it was Kevin Iro that had a nightmare first half. He came out in the second half and blitzed them. Can he do the same? They need him.
Alan Hunt scampers away from dummy half.
But we said at the time, when Leeds blew their 2 opportunities to score 2 tries, they could rue that fact. And look at the scoreline now. Saints 20, Leeds 6.
Goulding again, under pressure from Harman, the substitute. He went straight up in the air. Nobody fancies it. So Tommy Martin went for it, and he has been penalised for pushing Gary Mercer without possession of the ball.
Big grin on the face of Tommy Martin. He knew they transgressed not the unwritten law on this one, because it is written in the rule book. You cannot do that.
Well, Leeds need to reply up towards half-time. Harman's been brought on for runs like that, and Nicholl stands up to him bravely with Perellini. Lowe's to Faimilo. Faimilo, who has broken through the Leeds defence 2 or 3 times. 11 penalties, 6 have gone Leeds' way. Schofield to Holroyd. Schofield takes over again. Nowhere for him to go. Matautia.
He was looking for a runner. He was looking for the runner, and it just was not there. No point in doing a run around and trying to use the dummies when there's no man coming onto the football. He got caught there, did Schofield.
He's in possession again now. Long ball to Holroyd. He gives it to Tate. Tate gets round Perellini and straightens it up. Again, Tate looked over his shoulder as he went down. Nobody there. Took the tackle. Last one. Schofield dabs it through for Ayres. Too much. Too strong.
Nice planned move, but far too strong from Gary Schofield. Little chance a winger could get there. Never mind the second rower, Richie Ayres. Well, it really hasn't been Leeds' day so far anyway. They've had some great breaks. 2 wonderful breaks by Faimilo that should have produced tries.
Sullivan. Lowe's is after him. Sullivan's legs keep going. He gets up to the halfway line. Cunningham at dummy half. Taking on Lowe's.
He really is confusing them. Kieran Cunningham, quick runs from the dummy half. It's sucking in the defence tight. And this is where Bobby Goulding should be getting the link going now. Or will he use the kick?
Well, he wants it, Goulding, and he's got it. And he wants the drop goal. It just went wide.
Worth a chance. He gave himself plenty of room. Not the best execution. Either way, he knows that Leeds have to drag this ball out of their own quarter.
An important period of the match coming up here for Leeds. They really must get a try on the board to give themselves hope for the second half. George Mann with the run, but it was halted by Matautia. Lowe's to Mercer, and Mercer saw a gap. Closed down by Martin.
There's no support though. It's as though Leeds are expecting none of them to make a break. And another great tackle from Tommy Martin. His defence has been superb.
Schofield, Tate. Martin again, helped out by Sonny Nicol, and that's going to be, it's going to be a penalty to St Helens. Tate, the referee says, was holding on to the jersey, and Tate's in the bin here.
He'll have to go. He's been warned. He tried to con the referee. They're smart cookies, these merry whistleblowers, you know.
He sent him for chatting, but no doubt the penalty was absolutely right. Tate was hauling down Sonny Nicol's jersey, and then he had something to say, and that's why he's in the bin.
Well, they've lost the plot completely now, Leeds. It's desperation time. They can ill afford to let Saints in for another try just before the break. At least their coach Dougie Lawton may try to get them back into the swing of things. Words of wisdom at half-time.
Doug Lawton watching on, very concerned, as Nicol again with the drive towards the corner. Here's Cunningham once more, now Goulding. Goulding dabs through, the ball pops up by Lowe's. My word, Leeds are very much on a thin tightrope.
Did well there, did the hooker take possession. Sonny Nicol going high over the top, but Bobby Goulding, these little chips through the kick, it really is bamboozling the Leeds defence. Good job that the hooker was there. He's having a fine game though, with Bobby Goulding. He's mixing his game well. Little kicks, long balls, running on the angle, bringing people back on the inside.
Wasn't a bad kick into the wind, but here's Loughlin to run it back again for St Helens. Big, tall, rangy centre, Paul Loughlin. Now Steve Prescott, the fullback, who started this St Helens revival really with the two try-saving tackles at one end, and then scored the first try for St Helens at the other. This now is David Lyon. David Lyon, and he's got Alan Hunt there on his outside. He just couldn't get the ball out to him. Goulding. Saints looking to really press home the advantage here as we approach half-time. Vivas to Goulding again. He switches the direction once more. Ball out the back. It was risky, and Innes has pounced. Vivas is after Innes. Gets the pass away to Cummins. Great tackle again from Prescott.
Wonderful scrambling defence from Saints there. And that could have been penalised. They deliberately interfered with a pass then.
Here's Iro. Collins outside him. Holroyd's inside him. The referees pull them back. The referees pull them back for a forward pass. And Schofield's in the bin. He disputed the decision with the referee. And immediately Stuart Cummins showed him the yellow card. Leeds have fallen off the rails. They're in tatters. It's red. The card for Schofield's red.
Well, it was a line ball decision there. Stuart Cummins gave St Helens the benefit of the doubt, and there's little in my mind that Gary Schofield has said a few choice words to the man in charge, Stuart Cummins. Well, that really was a line ball situation. Remember, Saints scored a try that I thought was forward pass, and Gary Schofield, could that be a sad end to Gary Schofield's reign in the Leeds colours? They have still yet to offer him a contract, and what a way to leave Headingley if that is the case, being sent off.
A match then that has been filled with talking points from start to finish. Steve Prescott, number one there for Saints, has had a wow of a first half, and Stuart Cummins, the match referee, Schofield obviously said something out of turn to him, and he was not going to be back-chatted like that. The card first was yellow, then it became red. St Helens go in with a big half-time lead from a match early on that really did look like it was slipping away from them. But then enter the likes of Steve Prescott, and St Helens can smile at the half-time.
Who's welcome referee Stuart Cummings.
Well, he's got a smile on his face. He has no doubts he has acted correctly, and certainly, Steve-O, the one thing you cannot do, whether you are Gary Schofield or whoever, you cannot go up to a referee and abuse him like that.
There's only one boss, and the best way to show who is the boss. And it was silly of Schofield to continue on, because they've only done the 10 minutes in this sin bin. Mutterings after that earned him the red card.
Well, Leeds are down to 11 men at the start of this second half of the Stones-Bitter Premiership semi-final. They have introduced Marcus Vasilakopoulos, and he is immediately into the action, but they are down to 11 men with Schofield sent off and one other player, Alan Tate, in the sin bin. There's Neil Harmon, and he looked round for support, and the only man he could see then was Ian Pickavance. Mercer.
Pretty high there from Tommy Martin.
But he's got them for offside, St Helens.
Swinging arm from Martin there. Grimace on the face of Gary Mercer. Oh, that was a pretty heavy one. Well, Leeds really need a try quickly. Will these gallant 11 in the opening minutes produce a 4-pointer? They desperately need it.
This is George Mann, and now it's Richie Ayres. A lot of responsibility on the experienced heads in this Leeds side. Men like Kevin Iro and George Mann, and this is Mann for the corner. George Mann's in. The referee gives Leeds the 4 points, and it's exactly the start that Leeds wanted. George Mann with the try against his former club.
Good run from Mann back on the blind side. You could see that Lyons had come up there. Not the best attempt from Alan Hunt either. Well, they really caught them asleep. Good thinking though by the second rower. George Mann uses his strength. He just left Lyons standing. And look at that woeful attempt from Alan Hunt. Good thinking. Switch to the blind. They were caught napping. They paid the price. Well played. Didn't reach out. The momentum took him over. Fine try.
George Mann then with the try, the New Zealand international. Consecutive Premiership finals when he was at St Helens. Losing in 1992, beating Wigan in 93. And I wonder whether that is the try that will spark a Leeds revival. St Helens hold the conference to find out what went wrong. They've been caught cold at the start of this second half. Here's Holroyd's conversion attempt. Important 2 points on offer here. He's missed it. Leeds 10, St Helens 20. Remember, Leeds still down to 11 men.
There you see Lyons having a rest on the blind side. There was one man to go through, Alan Hunt, and he made a very feeble attempt there. Good try, good strength.
So George Mann gives Leeds some hope for this second half. McLaughton, at the moment, keeping his thoughts to himself. Richie Ayres grits the teeth and runs strongly at Cunningham. And Kieran Cunningham, only 18, but he stood his ground. Leeds have begun this second half as they started the match, running very strongly in the forwards, led here by Faimilo.
An uphill battle for Leeds, but the forwards really relishing it. That's the way to move forward. Neil Harmon taking it up.
Mercer and Matautia clash, the ball comes free, and St Helens have got possession back. He dropped it.
What a tackle though from Matautia, that was forward.
Referee's got it, forward pass. Been some hairline decisions for Stuart Cummings to make.
Yep, and that was pretty hairline, wasn't it?
Of course, he's under pressure now, Steve-O, isn't he, after sending Schofield off and calling the forward pass.
Especially under the popular stand here.
It's Jim Fallon through the gap with support from Iro. Innes out wide. Cummins is there too. Iro should have passed. They had a 2-to-1 overlap out wide.
Well, St Helens have forgotten how to tackle. That was a woeful attempt from Paul Loughlin. He went far too high. And Leeds are on a roll. And if Leeds can take advantage now, they're well and truly back in it.
This is Iro. Still going. Iro to the corner. Try! Kevin Iro! 2 tries for Leeds as Alan Tate waits to come back on. The 11 men of Leeds have hit Saints with 2 tries in 3 minutes.
Well, I don't know what St Helens were doing in the half-time break. They must have just been resting on the beds, because they certainly have gone to sleep. It all started halfway through from the halfway line when Paul Loughlin made a woeful attempt out wide. But the big man they call the Beast, look at the strength there. George Mann, a couple of minutes before then, and now the big centre, Kevin Iro.
So Iro's try then. 6 Wembley finals, but never at Old Trafford for Kevin Iro. Graham Holroyd then. 3 minutes after he took the last conversion attempt from almost exactly the same spot, he gets a chance to try again. Kevin Iro, along with Faimilo and Ayres and Mercer, have started this second half strongly. They've taken the battle to St Helens, and we really have got a match on here now. Alan Tate will return after this conversion. That's got chances. Oh, that sails between the posts. The revival's underway. 16-20.
There you see Viva's moving up, saying you've got to take him out, but the big man just wafted him away. It was a beautiful step, and look at the strength there. He switched the arm, put the ball in the left so he could fend with the right. What excitement, and what a great fight back. We talk about character. It doesn't come any bigger than this.
Alan Tate is waiting to come on. Bob Connolly, the 4th official here at Headingley this afternoon, just counting the seconds down. And on comes Tate. 10 minutes in the sin bin has been served. So Leeds now are 12-man strong. But what a bonus, although Ayres has got a clout on the head here. What a bonus, Steve-O, that they've grabbed 2 tries early on and are back in the hunt when Tate returns.
Well, it's 2 men down. Ayres is down. There's a St Helens player down in the background that collided, I think, with one of his own men. He looks in a bad way.
Meanwhile, the play continues with Cummins being pulled by the shirt tails. Tommy Martin is the St Helens man who's flat out.
They've called for the stretcher straight away. There's a lot of concern there.
High kick meanwhile the other end. Alan Tate's after it. Sullivan is there. Sullivan catches it. And Sullivan tries to get out of jail and does so. That was tremendous play from Sullivan. He skirted the dead ball line and then he managed to keep the ball in the field of play.
But great defence there. Neil Harmon leading the way. In the background, the stretcher is out for Tommy Martin. But look at this play from Sullivan. Determination.
So St Helens temporarily down to 12 men as well, because Martin will be stretchered off Headingley in a moment. I think it's a leg injury or a knee injury. The referee now holding play up while medical attention comes to Tommy Martin, and quite rightly so. And Martin, who had such a great game last week against Halifax, will be carried off this field on a stretcher. Looks like there's a major knee problem there for Martin.
That is a bitter blow to the Saints. Not only a playmaker, but one of the best defenders in rugby league. This is the incident. He just twists the leg underneath there, and it was the weight of his hooker, Kieran Cunningham, on that left leg that has created the problem. It doubled up underneath. You can see the pain etched on his face. Well, how many more twists and turns are we going to find in this game?
Very sad sight when a player leaves the field on a stretcher. That's why the play has been held up, because the referee wanted to get Martin to the dressing room as quickly as possible. So he goes off behind the Leeds defensive line. And Tommy Martin in some pain, with a block underneath his knees at the back just to raise them slightly. So Chris Morley will come on then for St Helens now. This is the last tackle, remember, for the Saints. The kick downfield from Goulding into the arms of Fallon.
It was worth a gamble as well, because Leeds didn't have a sweeper. They won't be able to use one either. Remember, they're down to 12 men. Schofield sent off. It was a nice chip over the top from Bobby Goulding.
Here's Gary Mercer. Clobbered by Matautia. Vasilakopoulos to Richie Ayres. Phil Vivas stands his ground. Pickavant's coming in over the top. Vasilakopoulos, the dummy half, to Holroyd. He finds Innes, and Leeds attacking down that side again, but Iro couldn't get it in, and that's going to be a knock-on.
Well, the fingertip terror comes back to Iro. Last couple of games we've seen him drop some simple passes and yet produce some wonderful tries, none more so than the one that he scored just a few moments ago to put Leeds well and truly back in this game.
11-minute second half gone. They are back in it by 4 points. The deficit for them to make up on St Helens, that's all. And with their Alliance and Academy sides crowned as champions this season, and with a plucky, determined showing here at Headingley today, the one thing you can say about Leeds, Steve-O, is the glory days, you get the feeling, are on the way.
Their attitude has certainly changed. They've rolled up the sleeves, they've worked hard, showing a lot of character. But it's important now that Saints just do not panic. They're the ones that hold the 4-point lead. They have to get back into the swing of things.
That's David Lyon, and he was wrestled to the floor by Francis Cummins. Alan Hunt will hoist the kick. That's Hunt chasing after it. Tate got to it first. There was a collision in midair. Bravery from Alan Tate. Leeds in possession. Cummins.
Great take there from Tate, but good play though from Alan Hunt. It was Ian that kick high, followed it through. There was no chance of it being offside.
Here's Tate, gets through Morley, can't get away from Matautia, who followed through with an elbow. Oh, crunch time by Matautia on Harman.
He's having a big game, isn't he? Not only in attack, but in defence. He's come out with some big ones.
Ayres stands in the tackle, thought about releasing the pass, thought better of it. On halfway, Leeds with Holroyd. High kick. Mercer claims he's onside. Prescott's made a meal of it, and Prescott gets away from Mercer. He got out of jail. Terrific play from the fullback after he made a total mess of wheeling in the high kick.
It was, but there was only Mercer going up there. Where was the rest of the chasers from Leeds? He only had one man to beat. If someone would have been helping Gary Mercer then, they perhaps could have got Prescott behind the line.
Goulding to Morley. Chris Morley, normally a back rower. It's his 6th appearance of this campaign for St Helens, and that was his finger who got to that. The ball went backwards. Play on, says referee Stuart Cummings. Nicol escapes the clutches of one, but can't get away from those two. Last tackle. It's Leeds who carry the greater threat at the moment, and remember, they're down to 12 men. Schofield sent off. Goulding's kick downfield. How ironic, Steve-O, that Leeds, if they get to Old Trafford next week, they might not be there now with Gary Schofield. He will no doubt have a date with the disciplinary on Thursday, and Schofield has never won a major winner's medal in his career.
Tragic times, but you had to pay the price. You can't just go up to a referee and come out with a few choice words.
Of course, it's all for the disciplinary to decide on Thursday. We cannot preempt that decision, but we can preempt this maybe, because it's Innes with the run. and Prescott stood his ground, but he's through him, and Innes levels the scores. Prescott thought he timed the challenge to perfection. Innes would not be denied.
Tremendous skills, but it was a beautiful long ball out wide. George Mann meant it on there, and look how he just raced around Sonny Nicol. Well, this Saints defence has gone to sleep again. A bad mistake. Steve Prescott pulled off two wonderful tackles in the first half. Long ball out wide. George Mann set this one away, and Nicol was caught wide. Lions had gone. The sliding defence failed to fill in. The dummy was enough. Nicol tried to come back and salvage, but what a wonderful try.
A try that puts Leeds level. Craig Innes, he scored his first ever Leeds try against St Helens 3 years ago, but that a priceless 4 points. 20 points all, and Holroyd, he's come in field about 4 or 5 metres this time. Remember, not long ago he kicked one off the touchline from that little mountain of sand just behind him. This is a slightly better angle, and what a big kick this is for 18-year-old Graham Holroyd. I beg his pardon, he's 19. Doug Lawton, his coach, will try and blow this one over, I'm sure. And he's kicked it, Holroyd. He appeared to get underneath it, but he didn't duff it. He held his nerve.
There you see Lyon and Hunt, they've gone out on the sliding defence. The man that's marked with a cross is the second rower, Sonny Nicol. He fails to fill in. The speed of the New Zealander takes him through, but this is where he should have been taken out. Nicol again took the dummy, but what a sensational try, and what a fight back. I've never seen anything like this for many a year. They were down and out, Leeds. The character is showing through, the determination, and the crowd here are going bananas.
Leeds have the lead. St Helens disrupted by the fact that Tommy Martin carried off on a stretcher. He's got knee ligament damage, we believe. That's bad news for him. Matauti has gone off, and Elia, number 14, has come on. Mercer, meanwhile, gets that play the ball to himself, and they've taken the dummy again, Saints. Mercer through Goulding, Vasilakopoulos, and Morley hauls him down. Leeds are running red hot. Harman on the blind side for the line, and just short on the last tackle. This now is Mann, and here's Alan Tate. Just held up.
Great scrambling defence there. You'll see underneath it's Bobby Goulding. He's got a bad shoulder injury. The weight there, impact. Alan Tate was struggling for all his worth. They're in the wars of the Saints at the moment, but what great defence again.
So St Helens are camped on their own line. Remember, it's the 12 men of Leeds against the 13 of St Helens. Sonny Nicol straightens things up, dragging St Helens away from danger.
It's important now that Leeds don't give away a silly penalty, a flop or holding down. They can't afford it. They've got to try and keep Saints down in their own half. Make sure that when they kick on the last tackle, remember they are facing against a pretty strong wind as well as Saints in this second half.
This is the last tackle. Goulding will just hammer it downfield, and then will lead the troops forward to try and cut Cummins down. It came off the chest, the dive from Bobby Goulding, says the referee.
Well, the fingertips found its way into the face as well. The impact of the arm went across the chest, but stray fingers found its way into young Cummins' face. It's all happening. This has been a sensational game.
Vasilakopoulos to for Milo, and round the corner is Alan Tate, and Tate's on his way to the corner. Prescott and Goulding combine to bring him down. What a game.
Why didn't Tate take him on though on the outside?
George Mann gets up, plays the ball. Vasilakopoulos finds Holroyd. Holroyd finds theirs, almost, he drops it. But he's got them for offside, Saints, right in front of the sticks. This will be a kick by Holroyd.
There you see, made no attempt to go through to it.
Ian Pickavance, the man picked out by the referee, Stuart Cummins, didn't make the full 10 metres back, made the tackle, got the possession back for St Helens, all to no avail.
Isn't it amazing? They lose the ball player in Gary Schofield sent off, and it's virtually forced Graham Holroyd. Here you see the replay of it. Prop forward never made any attempt to get back the 10. Stuart Cummins saw it quite clearly. But it's forcing this man, Graham Holroyd, into a position where he has to inject himself a little bit more than what he normally does.
Holroyd then with a penalty. He finds the mark. It's Leeds 24, St Helens 20.
On Sky Sports, we continue our coverage of the Benson & Hedges Cup with the match between Glamorgan and Gloucestershire live from Swansea. Top-class cricket exclusively live, starting at 10:45 Tuesday morning on Sky Sports.
Why a pair of 3D glasses? That's to get a better view of Colgate's first three-dimensional toothbrush. You see, your teeth aren't flat. They're three-dimensional. That's why the unique Colgate Total was created. The first layer of bristles are shorter to clean the surface of the teeth. Colgate Total also has a second layer of bristles. These are a little longer to clean right in between your teeth. Why am I standing at this angle? Well, that's the third dimension. Angle bristles to gently clean plaque away from the gum line. Try Colgate Total for a three-dimensional clean.
You're going to kill me. You're going to kill me because you overslept. You're going to kill me for an appointment. You're going to kill me without even thinking about it. You're going to kill me one day. Unless you kill your speed.
Can't see any holeless hula hoops. Well, there's some very interesting things.
Down to 11 men at one stage. Tate and Schofield off the field. Schofield permanently sent off. And Loughlin all over Alan Tate. Penalty to Leeds.
The crowd want Loughlin to be sent to the sin bin. Made a real meal of that. And that is losing control. Saints are just losing it, I'm afraid. But what a wonderful kick. Oh, 70 yards by the youngster.
And Leeds are back on the charge here with Neil Harmon. Finishing power, that tells you that Leeds ship a few in this quarter of the match, or at least they have been doing this season so far. And Leeds just ahead and looking for more with Holroyd. And what on earth has happened to the St Helens tackling? Vasilikopoulos, man, Ayres spins, finds Tate. This St Helens defence is having to work overtime.
What a great tackle from Parolini. It had to be.
Mercer gets the ball down, it's a try. The fight back is now complete. It's an 8-point advantage suddenly for the men from Headingley.
It's a Kiwi revival. 3 Kiwi tries have turned Leeds into it. Wonderful play from the loose forward, Gary Mercer. Throws the dummy, goes low. There was 5 men there. How did he get that ball down? And did he get to hit the line? Gee, that's close. They're in attendance there. We know he gets the ball onto the ground, but does it actually touch the line? Oh, this is a close one. inches away, but it must have touched a whitewash in the eyes of the referee, Stuart Cummings.
So Holroyd then with the conversion from just to the left of the posts adds the extra 2, and St Helens, having had a 20 points to 6 advantage, now have 10 points to make up.
What a game of controversy here. I don't think he reached the line. There's a ball going to it, and I think he was short.
According to the referee, he wasn't. It's 30 points to 20 for the second week in a row. Leeds coming back off the canvas and fighting back from 20 points to 6 down. But what makes this one more remarkable is the fact that they're doing it with 12 men.
And when they scored the first 2 tries in the second half, they were down to 11. Alan Tate was still in the sin bin. This is character plus from Leeds. They're on the boil.
And look at the possession, 72% to 28% for the 12 men of Leeds. And at the moment, it's Leeds on the way to Old Trafford. Vasilakopoulos, Innis, gets away from Vivas, was going to give it to Cummins, took them on his own out wide, passing the ball back inside to no one. Vasilakopoulos is cleaned out by Nicol.
Did the right thing as well. Vasilakopoulos went down with the football so that Holroyd can get the kick in. It's a field goal attempt.
And it's just short of the mark. It was ambitious.
Fair way out. Under a lot of attention from Vivas. Perhaps that just put him off enough.
In-goal judge there scampering across to get a look at it. In the end, it wasn't needed because it didn't quite reach the posts. But that could have been a big decision. And we've had some big decisions here. After this, don't forget we have the Premiership of the Second Division to catch up with, all the tries from the semi-finals.
Well, this is the moment now that Bobby Goulding really has to start taking control. He's got to weave the magic. He's got to get his forwards running on the angle, and they've got to support like they did in the first half.
Cunningham hits the deck, tackled by George Mann. Vivas, Goulding. Well wheeled in that by Francis Cummins. He gets away from Goulding. He can't get away from David Lyon. They certainly have got their tails up now, Leeds. Terrific fight back. Gary Mercer's played a full part. Alan Tate. Shoulder charge by Pickavance. Finished off by Perolini.
St Helens are out on their feet. They're taking a very long time to get back into that one line of defence, and Leeds are playing the ball as quickly as possible. That's where they're catching them out.
Long ball from Holroyd to Innis. Here's a danger man for Leeds, and Ayres drops it. And then he tackled the man without the ball. The referee will play the knock-on.
It was through the gap. It was a beautiful pass from Innis. Just lost it at the last moment. He knew that he was racing away towards the line. But it's been an amazing turnabout in confidence. This Leeds side, as they trooped off for the half-time break, they looked down and out, gone forever.
But we've had tries from Mann, Iro, Innis and Mercer without response from St Helens. And this game, from half-time, has turned completely upside down. Famous day at Headingley if Leeds hang on for this. Lyon, support from Prescott. Prescott in and out round Vasilakopoulos. Can't get away from Tate. Vivas wants to play on quickly. Goulding. Morley. Nicol, dummy half. Nicol strong and straight. Nicol still. Tackle just short. 2 to go for Saints. It's with Goulding. Long ball Vivas. Here's Lyon. Loughlin's there. Ball out wide. Sullivan. Sullivan's in. Did he hit the corner flag? Big decision for the referee. Corner flag first. No try. Great defence.
He went for it. Fallon just had enough. You could see that the leg was well and truly over the touchline. Great defence there from Jim Fallon. Sullivan really went for the corner. Desperation tackle. Did well there. Quite clear that he was in touch before the corner flag, and that's why there's a scrum. It's important now that Leeds just keep it cool. Oh, that's great defence. Saints have not given in yet.
Fallon, the man who pulled off that try-saving tackle, now carrying the battle to St Helens. Great run from the winger. Vasilakopoulos is struggling. He got a bang in an earlier tackle. James Lowes has returned to the fray for Leeds. Leeds on halfway with Faimilo. Mercer. Tate rather, he managed just to get his fingertips to it. There's James Lowes back off the bench. George Mann, Iro, forward pass, forward by a mile, that one. No arguments there.
The basketball pass once again from the big centre Kevin Iro. Fancy, but it's forlorn.
Mark Elia, try last week against Halifax, was his 50th for Saints.
They look a real tired outfit, this Saints squad now. They really did go to sleep. They thought they had the game in the bag. They thought all they had to do was just play out the 40. Leeds certainly changed all that.
Lachlan plays it to Cunningham. He gives it to Pickavance. Time for the St Helens big men now to take control here.
That's the type of running they need. That was good play by Pickavance.
Here's Nicol. Alan Hunt's out wide. Nicol though takes the tackle from Innes. Lyon is the dummy half.
What a big game Innes has had, both in attack and defence.
Goulding with the high kick. Ball bounces. He's offside, but he's given the knock on.
Eyes on the football there. There was no call between the two players, Tate and Holroyd. Someone should have called for that.
And it took a touch off Vivas, Steve-O, so it wasn't offside. That's why he's put the scrum down.
But you should call.
Saints have got possession from the scrum. Alan Hunt is in. Alan Hunt gives Saints some hope. He ghosted in from the touchline then. And Alan Hunt's 29th try of the season. How priceless that might be.
Beautiful work move on the blind side. Look how he takes it across. Prescott standing in at the standoff on the blind side area. Comes in from full back. And Alan Hunt knew what was coming through it. See how they used Lyon as a dummy out wide. James Lowes did well to say that came from a scrum. The hooker came out, but it was too late.
He's had a quiet match, Alan Hunt, hasn't he? But he's got the try here that gives St Helens a deal of hope. And their coach, Eric Hughes, looking at the scoreboard, it says 30 points to 24 in Leeds' favour. But if Goulding kicks this, Saints are just a try away. Vital kick for Bobby Goulding. Pressure, what's that, he says. 30 points, 26. A try in it, that's all.
See how Prescott, the fullback, uses Lyon, the centre, as a dummy, and Hunt is streaming back on the inside. They were caught napping there. The switch of play, but full credit there to the hooker, James Lowes, came out of the scrum and nearly pulled off the tackle.
So Alan Hunt's try then. Wants to get back to Old Trafford again to face Wigan. Issini Faimilo goes off and Harvey Howard comes back on with 7 3/4 minutes plus stoppages to go. And have Leeds 12 got enough fuel in the tank to hold out this St Helens 13?
Well, if it's down to determination, they'll probably hang on. The defence this half has been superb, but they've contained themselves. They've made sure that they've played out their full complement of 6. The possession has been all Leeds in the second half. They've starved the ball away from Saints.
Perellini keeps the legs pumping for a few more metres. They're 10 metres inside their own half, in possession with Vivas and now Goulding. Goulding out wide to Sullivan, closed down immediately by Fallon. Good defence from Fallon. Over the top though to Chris Morley. On halfway, he's hauled down by Howard and Mercer for the last one.
Will they try to chip over? There's no sweeper.
Goulding sliced it wide, looking for Hunt again. Hunt gets the ball back. It's still last tackle. Out to David Lyon. Tries the diagonal kick. He shouts to Goulding to leave it alone. Lyon now plays them all onside. Innes comes up with it.
Oh, he got a bad one there from Nicol. Innes really did get clattered.
I think Vivas did as well. Vivas, watch this here. Vivas got a clout and his face creases in anguish.
Geez, it was tough out there, but good play by Craig Innes. He went down on that ball when there was a swinging boot. Must have rattled the fingertips.
Here's Mercer.
Hasn't he led by example in the second half? They've run themselves to a standstill. Saints, of course, realise that with Leeds one man down, they've got to get the ball out wide. They'll have the overlap. The trouble is they can't get possession.
Last tackle, they might get it here. Watch for the kick from Holroyd. There it is. Iroh's closing in on it though. Prescott's underneath it, takes it this time. Skips away from the big man. Skirts round Fallon outside. Mercer's after him. Fallon wouldn't let him get away from him.
Oh, super play from Prescott. But Jim Fallon was equal to the task. He let him on the outside.
Sullivan scampers away from dummy half. Tries to go between Harmon and Harvey Howard. Cunningham to Mark Elia.
Saints surely will put on a move now.
Goulding's at the heart of it. There he is. It's with Vivas. Now Loughlin. Loughlin stabs it through. Tate just delays and eventually comes up with it, Alan Tate, and he's hurt.
Oh, he took a gamble there, and then you could see that Nicol coming in with the knees and the boot. They really have put their bodies on the line, these players today.
Saints now will try and get him over the line, and they do. It'll be a drop out underneath the Leeds posts. Holroyd had nowhere to go and was carted over.
Beautiful play by Perellini there and Phil Vivas. The experience knowing that they've got to get this possession back, which they will do. The drop out from underneath the sticks. Nobody's leaving this one.
4.5 minutes to go. Holroyd with the wind at his back. He gets it up to halfway. First bounce. Prescott will run it back. Just weighing up his options. Vivas dummy half. Alan Hunt. Hunt's remarkable scoring record against this Leeds team over the past 4 years continues then today. That was his 15th try in that period. He wants another though if Saints are to get to Old Trafford. Another at least. Goulding. Now then, there's danger for Leeds here. Holroyd just wouldn't let him get through. Morley is the dummy half. Chris Morley dragging St Helens to within 4 metres of that line. It's the last tackle, says referee Stuart Cummins. Goulding stabs it through. Who wants it? Leeds have got it, but it will be another drop out from underneath their own posts.
He read it well, the fullback Alan Tate. Fumbled with it, but he knew he was going over the Denning goal line. It was a beautifully weighted kick there from Bobby Goulding. The seconds are ticking away.
But this match is not won yet.
The nerves are tingling and jangling out there. Just one mistake and it's all over.
Another good deep drop out. Prescott traps it soccer style and runs it back again. Oh, Doug Lawton knows that he's so close to Old Trafford, but will St Helens snatch the big prize away from him? Eric Hughes hopes so. Cunningham to Elia. Mark Elia. And Harvey Howard stood there firm as a Headingley rock. Cunningham the dummy half. Vivas. Loughlin out wide is Hunt. He slips.
Either way, it was well marked there by the youngster Cummings.
Sonny Nicol, stretching every sinew in his body.
Surely it'll be a kick, a grubber from Goulding.
Goulding wants to take control, and he has. It's a long pass out wide instead to Morley. Morley still. Perolini keeps it alive. Goulding's back in charge. Dabs it through. Goulding, it's come up for him nearly. So close. It's just the knock on. There it is.
Desperation there. Bobby Goulding elected for the long ball and the first option on the last tackle. But great defence again. Mercer hanging on. He'll take his time.
Big defensive effort needed by St Helens here. Fallon, Morley brings him down. Here's Richie Ayres to the quarter line. They're getting away from trouble gradually, Leeds. This is Harman.
Holroyd will go for the big kick.
Prescott's dropped back to field it.
It'll be high and deep.
And he punched that towards the corner. That's a great kick. That's a fantastic kick. Graham Holroyd turned St Helens round then with that kick. From almost one end of the field to the other.
He's come of age. He's had to take over the responsibilities since Schofield had left the field. And what a tremendous kick. He knows that it's going to take a long distance effort from Saints now. Urging on the men, defend, he's saying.
And Alan Hunt is a man who could come up with a long-range effort. But George Mann's all round him.
They've got to take a gamble, the Saints now. They've got to keep the ball alive, even though they're in their own quarter.
That they're doing with Goulding. Out wide, it's Loughlin. Sullivan, dummy half. Nowhere for him to go. The Leeds defensive line standing firm. We're approaching stoppage time now. It's in the hands shortly of the timekeepers. This is Perolini, and apparently there's about 2 minutes of stoppage time to go. So still time for St Helens. I'm sure that message has got out. Vivas, Goulding, the ball to Pickavance to Loughlin, and that was forward.
No doubt about it. Loughlin just overstepped the mark. The prop forward, Ian Pickavance, knows that the chance has gone. But to make matters worse, the scrum will take valuable seconds. It will eat away at the clock. It's up the jumper time now for Leeds.
With George Mann, and now Tate, they're going to run it. Oh, the ball's popped out. Prescott picks up. Saints have got more chances here with Prescott.
What on earth did they try to run it for? It should have been up the jumper.
Elia.
One-man football. They could pay the price in the last seconds.
Goulding. Into the corner, one for Sullivan, but it took a nasty bounce. Fallon got it, that was a waste. Fallon now will surely just take the tackle. Well, they're playing again.
What on earth is going through the minds? James Lowe's looked at him there, and that's it. Coming down with the elbow. Frustration from Kieran Cunningham. There it is, the flop. Onto the top. James Lowe's knows, and so does the kicker, Graham Holroyd. This will go right into the stand. No passing from here on in, surely. Come and get me, boys.
George Mann takes the first. There's the siren! Leeds have scored here a quite remarkable victory. 20 points to 6, they were down at half-time. They've come back, and Holroyd really has taken control of the show with Gary Schofield sent off. A disappointed Bobby Goulding. Kevin Iro, his was the second try of this second half. 4 tries in the second half for Leeds, just 1 from St Helens, and the Leeds team have a second tilt at Wigan in a Premiership final. Super Leeds, the crowd say, and it was Super Leeds. A terrific fight back. A match that looked as though it had slipped away from them. But Leeds, runners-up in the Challenge Cup and runners-up in the Championship to Wigan, can have another go at knocking Wigan off in their quest for the Grand Slam. Leeds go right to the end of the season. Credit to 12 men. It was a terrific effort. They've hung on here and they have won, and they go to their second major final of the season. It's Leeds 30, St Helens 26. We promised you a classic. I think the teams have served one up.